All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, all my friends, family, and followers to Church with Bo. All right, I know we took a week off there, had some great conversations. We had a chemist on, a biochemist at that. I don't know if he mentioned it, I forget. It's been a minute since the recording, but he does in fact work for a company that produces lab grown meat for consumption. And I haven't looked into it personally because he didn't want it, brought out and potentially led back to him. But he did let me know that he does work for a company that produces lab-grown steaks and I believe chicken and such. And they're one of like the main companies, I believe, that's trying to get lab-grown into supermarkets because they believe it's obviously cleaner than regular meat, but also very edible and has no negative side effects. You know, I'm always surprised by the fight against lab meat. Everybody I've talked to, especially older people, like, hate the idea of lab meat in any way. I mean, I think it's clean. It should almost be clean enough for a vegan to want to try, or at least a vegetarian. Obviously, there's no animal cruelty. We took the cells of a chicken and we grew a perfectly clean chicken breast in the highest quality standard of, you know, care for a room in general anywhere in the world. It's like a lab setting, purified air under the perfect conditions we could simulate. Like, yes, don't get me wrong. I'm not 100% trying to eat lab grown meat. And I get it. But if you've seen, I believe it was Snowpiercer, they feed everybody these weird like vitamin or not vitamin, but protein bars. And the protein bars, they look like a regular little square protein bar, and they're like chocolate flavor or something. And in the movie, they find out that really it's all cockroaches and like bugs that they're just like smushing up underneath the train and like melting and basically mixing with a bunch of dyes and colorants and fucking flavorings to try to get these people food because it's like a train full of people and they're supposed to be like, I don't know how long on there, but they produce these protein bars for people. Especially, I think there's like cheaper cabins that can't really afford food, so they get like whatever free food the train gives. So I would much rather eat a lab grown chicken breast than a cockroach protein bar. And we actually do there. I'm not sure if it's cockroach. I'm pretty sure the most common one in America, at least, or worldwide, I don't know, it's mealworms. They use mealworm protein, where it's like certain protein bars and like protein powders and stuff. It's basically they get a bunch of mealworms and grow them and crush them up and blend them into, dry them into a powder, and bam, you got protein, because I guess some people want a more natural protein. I don't know. I think it's more so that people are allergic to like peanuts and, certain like almond and, nut-based protein foods. But yeah, and every time I try to ask somebody at work what they think about, potentially having lab grown meat as like an option, they're just like, oh, gross. They basically act like it's the cockroach protein bar. And, a lot of the times I have to tell them, oh, you know that a lot of protein things use mealworms and like certain insect protein already. Not to mention that in like China and, poor Southeast Asian countries and areas, I've seen videos where dudes have like these whole little setups. They got a big ass walk, right? They're in the backyard and they have this like weird, like sort of like rounded out fly swatter type thing. And then they'll put like I think it was like a gas lamp because bugs love light, and they'll like light a gas lamp and put it like somewhere like hanging off like this thing in the yard up high, and they'll be like under it, and it's like the bugs will start to swarm because in those areas it's like a lot of bugs. They'll start to hit it with this fly swatter, quack, 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 and you see the walk is like it's not even hot, right? So it just slowly starts filling up with bugs, huge. And when he's got like a giant pile of bugs, you're like, he turns off his little light, smacks the rest of them in there, so there's none bothering him. And then he fires up the wok, starts throwing little MSG, little spice, a little Cholula, whatever. And then within 5 minutes, he's got a big ass bowl because they cook down, they pop and shit and they'll cook down. He basically frying them in some kind of oil and spices. And he just, that shit, I was saying, it doesn't look like, if you were raised on it, you would love it. I guarantee it. Like, people who eat pig snouts and fucking feet, chicken feet. I, I can't even get myself to bite a chicken foot. I get it, kind of looks like corn, A lot of people love chicken feet. To me, it's just, I don't know. I've even picked up dead chickens and the feet just, it feels like a solid stalk of corn. I don't want that. I don't know. I'm nobody to judge anybody for weird foods. I mean, I've eaten cow tongue. It took me, and my parents make it, and it took me probably till I was like 25, maybe even later, to even get myself to have the cow tongue. My girlfriend tried it. She's like, I'll try anything once. I'm like, all right, I wouldn't do it. She's like, oh wow, it's actually kind of tastes like carnitas or something. No, you should try it. You gotta try it. Just here, try a bite. And she like fed me. I was like, you know what? This actually isn't that bad. I put a little bit on my plate. My parents were like, you're eating tongue? She's never eaten the tongue with olives. It's like a really nice, fancy Romanian dish. We make tongue with olives, limba cu măsline. And that never stood out to me as something good. I never even liked how it smelled in the house when you open the oven. But I guess, I don't know. I never really tried it as a kid either, for whatever reason. And then the older I got, the more I was just, psyching myself out, trying to basically tell myself it's tongue. You don't have to eat the tongue. Why are you eating tongue? You know? But I also do love a good pork rind, you know. And when I was little, I did grow up eating that. We would eat like usually if it was like a wedding, mostly just for weddings or for Christmas once a year. Everybody for Christmas once a year, at least when I was growing up. If your family had enough money to, you would buy a pig in like the spring, right? Around this time, usually June, maybe a little earlier, right when the frost stops and it stops getting real cold in Romania. We would get a little pig, not little, medium-sized pig, big enough so that by the time Christmas came around in 7 to 8 months, we could pick whatever we want. Certain people would have like, oh no, I only feed my pig like bananas. This is a banana flavored pig. And they would swear by it. They feed them a whole bananas, the rind, everything. But they would just to say that there would be like people who would buy pigs every year and have them on like specific diets and try to like compete with the neighbors because the pig would get to at least 200 if it was small 200 pounds, you know. If it didn't hit 200 pounds, you might as well wait till like fucking summer to cut it or something because at that point, just, you got more bone and work ahead of you than it's going to be worth. But we would get pigs. And I remember the first time after I really started forming memories, we got a pig and I named him. I forget what I named him. Ovidiu, Oscar, some shit, some little Romanian name I made up or thought of hearing, names on like Romanian translated Superman cartoons. And Christmas came around that year. And that whole week, I had been like joking with them, like, "Hey, you're not gonna like kill my pig, right? Like that'd be fucked up. That's kind of mean. And that's my friend. It's my only friend who doesn't steal from me." And my dad would probably straight up tell me, I can't remember, but if he was anything like now, he'd be like, "Yeah, no, he's definitely gonna die. Like, and he's gonna be delicious. You will eat him and you will enjoy it. I guarantee it." And I don't know. I might have just gotten mad and been like, "No, no way," and walked away or something because I didn't believe it. Christmas morning, I wake up and I'm like, "What are they doing?" I'm like, "Oh, they're getting the pig." Da 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 da. I'm like, "What? Not my boy. Y'all are about to cut my boy. Don't do it, Ma." And she's like, "I can't stop them. What are you talking about? Don't do it. They're all out there already." Da 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 da. I look outside and I remember like the first thing I like run outside and the first thing I see, they like got my boy hemmed up in the yard and they're like either they're like hog tying him and about to tip him over or they like had him on his side or something and they were hog tying him and like tying it up and then like they were flipping him over and I could see my uncle like had his knife, his big ass knife ready, and he was about to walk over and like, I don't know, cut a fucking square out of my boy's throat. So I turn around and I run back into the house and I cried myself to sleep like under my bed. That's where I hid, where I knew that I was like a dog. They would try to like give me my medicine and I wouldn't want to take it because it tasted like shit, made me feel weird. And I would run and hide like a dog underneath the bed because it was like a futon couch bed and the bottom was like really small. Like you'd have to be small as a person to fit under there, be able to crawl under it. So I would always hide under there so I wouldn't have to take my medicine. But, I had to, so somebody would just be waiting until I finally got tired. And I woke up probably like 2 hours later or something. Somebody had been like, "Where's BB? What's he doing?" And it was my dad, and he's like, "Hey, hungry?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm sorry. Didn't mean to kill your friend." But we had to. I told you. I told you when we got him not to get friendly with it. And I forget how, but eventually I got out from under the bed. And I think he had brought me, yes, yes, back to what I was talking about. He had brought me a piece of like, from like even before I had memories, apparently. It was like my favorite thing was like it's not quite bacon, but it's like after you like cut the pig, you like burn all the hair off, right? And then there's like you got like this big ass scraping knife that you like basically scrape the top like layer of like burnt crisp skin off that you like all the hair and stuff was on. So you like scrape the skin of all the like hair and stuff. And then you cut that like first layer of skin like right up until the layer of fat starts. And it's like basically just like pig skin, right? Like pork rind, but like a fresh off the back pork rind. And apparently, even before I could remember, that was one of my favorite things. One of my favorite snacks, even before I had any idea what it was. You get that fresh pork rind, you throw it on like the skillet just a little bit, just to like the bottom side, because the top side's cooked from the blowtorch, like burning all the hair and stuff off. The top part of the skin is essentially cooked still, but cut it and sizzle the bottom part a little bit, basically, just to warm it up and cook that fat just a little bit. Throw some salt on there, hit it with and then you just chomp it down. Super simple. Pork rind, off the back. And he gave me a piece of pork rind. I couldn't resist. I hadn't eaten all day. And I took my medicine. My medicine was prednisone, I believe, at the time, or prednisolone or cortisone still until my body like got too used to that one, which is basically just like a steroid. And steroid on like an empty stomach as a 3-year old, that'll get you, boy. That'll get you younger. So hungry. Sorry, I had to chase the diet ginger ale because that's the only soda we have available right now. And I can't stand the flavor, that aftertaste of Splenda. I don't know, aspartame, whatever they use in diet sodas, even the Diet Cokes. It's just that something about the fake sugar. I don't mind the fructose corn syrup. I don't mind the real sugar Mexican Coke bottle. But for some reason, whatever they use to sweeten these sodas, it's not it. Diet Pepsi, same problem. Diet Dr. Pepper, I think I've had like once or twice. Same problem. Somebody told me if you want to try diet soda, if you're like, trying to lose weight or something, you need a diet soda that might work, yada yada. Try diet cream soda. I think it was. I think it was diet cream soda or diet root beer. I think it was like diet mug or Barks root beer. And I tried it, and don't get me wrong, it's not bad because root beer's like flavor is mostly in like the concoction. It's like a fucking southern thing. I had it once for a southern Thanksgiving in Louisiana. Delicious, non-carbonated, which was weird to me, but it tasted like all the ingredients in the best root beer you've ever had, except like fresh, super like basically straight from the store and broken down with a pestle and mortar and thrown in this shit. And it's just like a big, like dark brown, like colored syrup, basically, like the soda. But I don't know. The only thing that threw me off was I was expecting it to have a little fizz. I was even like telling I didn't want it. It's Southern. It was a Southern Thanksgiving that was like my girlfriend's Thanksgiving family's place. My first time there, I didn't want to be rude, but I was just thinking to myself, I mean, why don't we just put some kind of carbonation or like, one of the really carbonated club soda like right next to it so people could just boop boop. If you're used to, Red Bull with a little fizz, but I guess it's not, that's not how they swing out there. But yeah, it's been a eventful 2 weeks. I recorded both of those episodes and basically had an extra week to drop. So a lot has gone on, but also at the same time, not too much has gone on. I've been still cranking away at this album, opening my apps every day, trying to find new beats. If anybody got some for me, comment, let me know. I appreciate it. I'll give you your credit, whatever, work it out. And yeah, I've just been working. I got a nice little week off paid coming up. I'm gonna try and put a little music video together. I got the bright idea that I don't know why I haven't tried this yet. I feel like I should have at this point, but I want to record a music video, basically record all the clips for an entire video. Like if you look on my page, on my BB Angel page, I have a couple videos up out there. And the last like two I made myself, right? So I have to edit the entire things. I can't figure out how to edit it on my computer. I used to be great at Sony Vegas. Can't even figure out how to download Sony Vegas anymore. So I'm trying to do it like cheaper. And I love using CapCut for like real short reels and stuff I use for Instagram. So I figured, oh, let's try this. It's insane trying to use CapCut on the computer. It won't let me. For some reason, I'm paying on CapCut mobile for Pro, but when I try to switch it onto the desktop, it's like, oh no, you can keep paying for that, but you need to pay an extra 20 a month if you want desktop. So I end up editing a fucking 4 minute video on CapCut on my phone on this where is that tiny ass little phone, and I'm just sitting here and I can't even turn it sideways to try to get like a wider angle and let myself see more. No, I gotta edit the clips in like a tiny ass bar that's like this big, and I gotta move shit around and cut, and it's a process, and I don't disrespect the process. I love it. I've made videos that I enjoy. I hope, sync up well enough to the lyrics. I think they do. I checked them many times and, even give myself a break from it, go smoke or something, take a walk, come back before I post it to make sure it's actually, close enough synced up in every clip. And it's a lot. So I was trying to do a lot more videos, but I guess I can't really push myself to it. I've been trying to, and my mind's telling me yes, but my body's being a bitch sometimes. So I've decided to film the video, and another thing holding me up is I need to find a location. I've shot like the last two, three videos in my backyard, and I'm running out of angles to use in the yard. But I think I got a few more, and I might be able to use the neighbor's yard. So we'll try. We'll try to get another at least two, three around here. I'm gonna film them basically, but basically is the word of the day. Myself, and I will take all of the clips, find somebody on Fiverr in Pakistan or, Uzbekistan who will shoot, edit, I mean, not shoot, I'm shooting it, who will edit the video for me cheaper than somebody local who will charge, like what, $100 a minute or something. Hopefully I can find somebody charging like $50 a minute. So give them the clips and a basic rundown of what I'm trying to do with the song, and then they can send me back finished clip. I'm just worried about Fiverr because I've tried to get them to make me an AMV before, one of those little anime music videos, and one, it didn't sync up at all. Two, he completely ignored everything that I said in the notes, and even in like the correction, I was like, this doesn't really match the vibe, and like, what is this? I've never even heard of this anime. And the guy was just like, oh, okay, my bad. I'll do better. Give me a few minutes. And like 15 minutes later, he sends me back a completely different anime to the same song. But this one's like even less on beat. So I'm like, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. You're fine. And I ended up using the first one. So, you know, the more you know, the less you care. But that's what I've had going on. Been putting all that together and whatever free time I have, trying to, get myself to stretch and meditate a little bit and get some sunlight. It's been my great battle. I usually get great sunlight, before I had to work so much all the time. No, but I'm big on just laying out in the sun, as close to naked as you can. And when you got direct light at a spot in your backyard or somewhere you can lay out and basically your skivvies lay down. Ah, catch it. You know, I'd be putting on some Ram Dass guided meditations. I love a nice Sunday morning. It's getting nice and warm in Georgia. I got a patch of light coming on the patio. Lay down, take my shirt off, meditate. Basically, roll my eyes into the back of my head, and, you know, try to find my center. What did that guy? What did that guy in Mulan try to say? Uh, if you find your center, you are sure to win. Hell yeah, you're doing that. That's the type of shit I'm on. Mooning. All right. What else? What else is going on? I've got a couple clips, not clips, but I've got a couple news articles pulled up that I want to go through. But I'm just trying to, figure out if we've got anything else that I wanted to talk about. Happy and da, da, da. Yes, not. So, where can I share screen? There we go. Let's check these out. The actor who plays John Redcorn in King of the Hill is dead. He died, as you can see, in an argument with neighbor. Oh, he was also known for playing Chief Ken Hotate on Parks and Recreation. King of the Hill voice actor Jonathan Joss has died at the age of 59 after a shooting in Texas, police have confirmed. Joss was the voice of John Redcorn for seasons 2 through 13 of the popular animated series, King of the Hill. He had reportedly recorded bits for the show's reboot, which recently began production for Hulu and is slated to premiere in August. Damn. I haven't actually read these. The actor was reportedly shot multiple times over the weekend after a disagreement with a neighbor. San Antonio police responded to a home after reports of shots fired and found Joss near the road with gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police found the shooter, whose name has not yet been released, after he fled the scene and have charged him with murder. The investigation is ongoing. Hmm. In Texas, Joss, whose other credits included Chief Ken, as well as Tulsa King Ray Donovan, True Grill, Magnificent Seven, took over the King of the Roll after Victor Aaron died in a 1996 car accident. Role with John Redcorn. Just hours before his death, Joss was in Austin, bringing the Redcorn experience to fans. Saturday evening's event included live music and a Q&A session and a meet and greet with Joss. We're bringing stories, laughs, music, and that unmistakable Redcorn energy to the heart of Texas for one unforgettable night. Whether you're a longtime fan or just curious what the spirit of John Redcorn is all about, this is for you. Wow. Joss then posted on his Facebook that he and his husband were seeking a ride back to San Antonio after the event. What the fuck? Last night's gig was amazing. A huge thanks to everyone who came out and showed us love. We're feeling so grateful for the support and good vibes. Now we're looking for a ride from Austin to San Antonio. Are you all right? If anyone's heading that way soon and has room for a couple of performers in our gear, hit us up. Thanks again, y'all. We couldn't do this without you. Wow. Joss's final Facebook post read, "Our ride will arrive in a few hours. Thank you, everyone. We're grabbing some food and feeling thankful for the support." Jesus Christ. So they couldn't find a ride. Somebody had to drive hours from somewhere else to come pick up John Redcorn and band and take them back to San Antonio. Jesus Christ. I mean, there's how many of them were there? You're telling me they couldn't afford like a super expensive Uber ride back? What the hell? That is just the whole story. Him and his husband needing a ride after basically a convention, a little event, meet and greet thing. His final Facebook post. Hours later, the dispute occurred, leading to his death. I mean, that's just devastating. The actor suffered a devastating loss earlier this year when his San Antonio home burned down in a fire, according to a GoFundMe started on his behalf. Joss lost his childhood home and possessions, as well as three beloved dogs. Jesus Christ, I need to get off of this story. This story is getting sadder by the second. This wasn't just any home, it was the house his father built for his mother in 1957, filled with a lifetime of memories, the GoFundMe description read in part. Fans have been devastated by the news of John's passing. They took my brother away from me, man. Jonathan Joss, aka John Redcorn, I love you, brother. Until I see you again. One fan wrote. Wow. Incredible. We wish the family well. Warning issued after millions, I thought it was hundreds of millions of bees escape overturned truck in the US. This is America, folks. Millions of bees escaped from an overturned truck in the US state of Washington. Thank God it's on the West Coast. Friday, sparking warnings from authorities for public to avoid the swarm. Emergency officials were helped by several master beekeepers. Master beekeepers. Where do I gotta sign up for that job, huh? After the truck, which had been hauling roughly 70,000 pounds of active honeybee hives, flipped over on a road near the Canadian border. The goal is to save as many bees as possible. What Cotham County Sheriff's Office said shortly after the incident. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you believe this? The goal is to save as many bees as possible. I bet. What the fuck? The authorities said the site of the crash would remain closed until the rescue is complete. Here's a beautiful, what is that? Freightliner, big ass semi truck covered in bees at the Whatcom County Sheriff's Office. Whatcom County Sheriff's Office urged people to avoid the area due to the potential of bees escaping and swarming, and initially said 250 million bees were loose after receiving information from one of the beekeepers doing recovery work. It said that a more accurate total was considerably lower and closer to 14 million bees. See, myself, initially, see, initially, I seen this same said 250 million bees number. Now they talking about some old hibbity dibbity 14 million, huh? They ain't talking about no 14 million, man. This ain't about no 14 goddamn Gillian. This ain't no 14 Jillian Rice bees flying out on the loose, man. I think it was 250 mil. Yeah, swoosh, 250 bill. Come on, it was a $250 million bees. And now they just trying to cover it up, make it as safe of a situation, seemingly as safe of a situation as possible. You know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? That's what I think. 14. That's a government number. Government took my millions. The plan is to allow the bees to rehive and find their queen bee. You know we love a queen bee. Authorities said they hoped this would happen within the next within the next 24 to 48 hours. In an update posted to social media later on Friday, police thanked the wonderful community of beekeepers, saying over 2 dozen had turned up to help with the rescue efforts. Oh, goddamn. By morning, most bees should have returned to their hives, dear boy. The sheriff's office wrote on Facebook. Footage shared by police showed huge numbers of bees swarming around the overturned lorry. Can you believe it? While some beekeepers aim only to produce honey, many others rent out their hives to farmers who need the insects to pollinate their crops. Have you noticed how much more interesting things could be with an interesting accent? Is this the underbite of God himself, or am I just enjoying this too much? Too much. Oh dear boy. Oh, FBI investigating targeted terror attack in Boulder, Colorado. Director Cash Patel says. Now, I've got a thing or two with the FBI, if I may say so myself. Olympic boxing champ Imane Khalif must undergo genetic sex screen to fight for new governing body. Oh, behave. Wow. Apparently, the Olympics have changed the governing body on who the governing body of, I forget, what is it? Genetic testing, yes, the screening, the drug screening, the genetic sex screening. I believe the last committee governing body did not screen genetic sex. And this governing body will be screening genetic sex. And this might pose a problem for Imani Khalif, because as she has stated, she was raised a woman. She was always like this, but she may have, I'm not sure if it's super female where she has like an extra X chromosome nearby, or if she has a Y on there somewhere. You know, that exists as well in the hermaphroditic expedited, the XXY, I believe it is. And there's even an XXXY, no porno, pause, you know. So this could pose interesting potentially for the next Olympics. This is just a little thing I'm liking to do towards the end of the poem. We're trying this. We're trying this out. Oh yes, it even fixes my voice to change my hat around. But we're trying this. I'm reacting. I'm reading and reacting to a couple of bits here. Good news. This is fresh. I've not planned none of this. I didn't plan this accent. It came. It was born, as was I, and it will continue to evolve. It might go Filipino. It might go Dutch. Only thing I know is I will continue onward. Should we click the FBI investigation? Let's see what they're smoking on. Allow ads. I hate you, routers. Apologies. You saw my ad blocker. I don't show my ad blocker on the first date. Come on, routers. There we go. FBI director calls a targeted attack of terror. Boulder police say 8 people injured after a man threw firebombs. University student says she and 4 women on the ground. She saw 4 women on the ground with burns. My apologies. Attack comes shortly after fatal shooting in Washington. Washington of two Israeli embassy workers. Dear boy, dear girl, what is going on? 8 people were injured on Sunday when a 45-year-old man yelled "Free Palestine" and threw incendiary devices into a crowd in Boulder, Colorado, where a demonstration to remember the Israeli hostages who remain in Gaza was taking place, authorities said. 4 women and 4 men between 52 and 88 years old were transported to hospitals, Boulder police said. Authorities had earlier put the count of the injured at 6 and said at least one of them was in critical condition. My God. We're fairly confident we have the lone suspect in custody. The anti-Semitic attacks around the world are a direct result of the blood libels against the Jewish state and people, and this must be stopped. And I thought I could go a whole episode without bringing up Jewish blood libel. I'm sorry, YouTube algorithm. I am sorry, anybody who finds offense or is triggered by such speak. But I did not intend to. You found this was my first time seeing this article with you just now. So, onward and upward. Look at the man. Look at the man himself. Let's zoom it in. Oh, howdy doody, do, I did this. He didn't have anything better going on. Don't mind him. Incident comes amid heightened tension of the United States over Israeli war in Gaza. Victims burned. That's very depressing. The bees. What else is going on? Puerto Rico Supreme Court allows X as a third gender choice on birth certificates. Oh, behave. Oh, behave. Please. Elon Musk bids farewell to the White House, but says Doge will continue. In his heart, will always continue. Oreo maker Mondelez. It's the Oreo Mondelez, Hispanic. Latino Oreo. Come out and play, yeah. Sues Aldi, alleging chain copies packaging to confuse shoppers. Confuse the shoppers. Well, I don't know what you're looking at, but it looks like nutter butter there, nutter butter here. Chips are high, chips are bye. Oreo, Blorio. Yeah, that's definitely suable. But I don't know what the laws in Sweden, I think all these Swedish, yeah, Sweden, I don't think copyright applies the same in Sweden. So they might not get very far with that. They might not even be able to make them stop selling it in America like that because it's not manufactured, it's imported, you know? And even with the tariffs, even with the Omar tariffs, they can probably still sell them cheaper than Oreo because Oreo's been fucking us, selling them goddamn cookies like gold. 1,000,000% profit margins. 1,000,000,000% profit margins. Trillion% profit margin, dear boy. I'm just going to read a couple more here and round out the podcast for you, gentlemen. gentle ladies. Conservative Carol Nowacki wins Poland's presidential election. Good on her. Alcohol-related brain damage could affect thousands, warns experts. That's not gonna stop much. Heyo. Harvard researcher charged with smuggling frog embryos was unlawfully detained by ICE. Charged with smuggling frog embryos. What, from Mexico for Harvard? So they don't have to pay the higher price for, I don't know, research legal frog embryos for dissection, I imagine. I don't know. And I don't want to know, Captain. Trump administration halting student visa appointments ahead of expanded social media vetting. Hey, oh no. French pedophile Sergent, who abused hundreds, sentenced to 20 years in jail. Why not prison? I hope he gets the dog shit beat out of him in that 20 years. Religiously. Oh, yes, I did. Maybe if we could squeeze this last bit of berry out of this juice real quick. Georgia mayor, since I'm currently living, and two others are jailed on felony charges for trying to halt a local election. Hello, Clarice. Hello. Right down the middle. I can't see shit. Savannah Jar, the mayor of a small city in Georgia, and two former election officials have been jailed on felony charges, stemming from efforts last November to halt a local election after one of the mayor's allies was disqualified from a city council race. Camilla, Mayor Kelvin Owens, was being held at the Mitchell County Jail Friday, 2 days after grand jury indicted him on a felony charge of election interference, a misdemeanor count of conspiring to commit election fraud as well. Also jailed were the city's former election superintendent, Runette Williford, and her former deputy superintendent, Cheryl Ford, who is currently Camilla's city clerk. They were charged with the same crimes as the mayor, plus misdemeanor counts of failing to perform their duties as public affairs. Chaos roiled special elections for a pair of city council seats in Camilla last November, amid a long-running legal battle over local politics in the town, a farming community of about 500 people in rural southwest Georgia. Well, I'll be. We get it. All three defendants remained in jail awaiting a hearing Monday. It was not immediately known if any of them had attorneys. Messages seeking comment, blah, blah, blah. Associated Press could not find working phone numbers. Declined. District attorney declined to comment. Well, what can we say? Corruption is everywhere. We can't stop it, but it can't stop us either. We gonna keep it going like an angry beaver, baby. Let's have a good week. Let's turn up. Let me hear you say, wow. No, wow. Man, wow. Wow.